What's more important to you, credibility or going viral?
A lot of times, Cam, I don't even know. I didn't know it was going to go viral. A lot of these clips that go viral. Yeah. I'm telling you this, and I want somebody to send it to you. And I've been seeing it in the chat. Yeah. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
I don't know who you talking about, but I'm with you.
Say my name again, and I'm gonna release the DMs because you're lying. Yeah. You said I reached out to you to come on Club Shay, and you a mofo lie.
In a recent interview, Shannon expressed his frustration with certain celebrities attempting to cancel his show and undermine his success.
Club Shay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a weight set.
Recently, Shannon Sharpe has come forward to accuse Katt Williams of impacting his life and career negatively. Despite their explosive interview just 2 months ago, the fallout continues to stir up drama and controversy within the comedy community. Initially, Katt received mixed reactions from fans and fellow comedians for his comments about other black comedians, with some praising him and others criticizing him. Now the focus has turned to Shannon, with accusations that he's using his platform to undermine black men, leading to claims that he's anti-black. Shannon isn't taking these accusations lying down and has redirected attention back to Katt, insisting that Katt is the one at fault. Allegedly, Shannon has also blamed Katt for allegedly tarnishing his career irreparably. And while all this is happening, celebrities have also taken turns on directing jabs at Shannon and his platform Club Shay. Amidst all this drama, it's hard to say what's really going on. But grab your seats, because this tea is getting heated. But first, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for all the latest updates on your favorite celebrities.
I remember when I did Cam. I remember getting up, and I turned back and I look at my Katt, and I look at my producer, and he's shaking his head. I'm like, oh man, we done messed up. So I'm like, what did I say?
Yeah.
Did I say something? Did he like, this is gonna be the talk of 24.
No way.
I'm like, you think so?
Club Shay is turning into a real circus lately. As D.L. Hughley said, it's like Wendy Williams never left. She just brought a weight set with her. It's been nearly 2 months since Katt Williams dropped that bombshell interview with Shannon Sharpe, and the fallout is still rocking the industry. With over 70 million views on YouTube, you know it made waves. The internet was buzzing nonstop. You'd think after all this time, people offended by it would have moved on, right? Apparently not, because the drama is still alive and kicking. Shannon's not just catching flack anymore, now he's pointing fingers at Katt Williams, accusing him of stirring up all this hate. Shannon's even claiming Katt tried to sabotage his career. This whole mess has been brewing since day one of that podcast drop. Most of the heat and criticism fell squarely on Katt, coming from fellow comedians and entertainers. Katt spilled a lot of secrets, especially about comedians in his circle, which didn't set well with them. Many felt he was trying to publicly shame his fellow black comedians, sparking a backlash. Let's face it, Katt didn't hold back, particularly targeting some comedians hard. Some saw it as jealousy or bitterness, especially given his recent career challenges. One of his primary targets was Cedric the Entertainer, accusing him of joke theft from other celebrities and passing them off as his own.
He knows why liars lie, and that's why I had to come on the program. Cedric did the same thing. Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Katt Williams' joke? Yeah. He said, it don't line up. How it don't line up that I did it on TV in 2018? You came to see me at the Comedy Store do it in 2019, and then did it on the Kings of Comedy. Like, what doesn't line up? This is a televised joke that Mark Curry helped me punch up and get to the level that it was.
Katt Williams then publicly accused Cedric of being inauthentic, alleging that Cedric relied on stolen jokes or ghostwriters instead of writing his own material. Unsurprisingly, Cedric took offense to Katt's remarks and fired back on Instagram, stating, regardless of Katt's opinions, my career speaks for itself. With over 40 movies and numerous specials, my work defines me. I've supported talents like Katt, and his tough talk is just noise. I'm focused on my path, and he can handle his own. Kevin Hart also joined in on criticizing Katt, mocking him on social media by likening him to a circus clown. It's understandable why Kevin retaliated, as Katt had accused him of joke theft and being an industry puppet. Katt went further to allege that Kevin fabricated his success, claiming it was all an illusion. According to Katt, Kevin exaggerated his achievements and misled people about his true level of success, suggesting it was all a facade.
No one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person.
Katt's criticism of Kevin didn't come out of nowhere, as these two have a long-standing feud. It began when Katt spoke out about being sidelined by the industry for speaking his truth, asserting that his honesty led to him being blacklisted. Kevin took offense to this and publicly stated on The Breakfast Club that Katt's issue stemmed from substance addiction and being difficult to work with. He said,
"He came at risk to the studios, which is why the studios stopped with you."
Why was he at risk?
He chose you.
Oh, okay.
Take responsibility for what you chose and say, you know what, I gotta fix me, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna stand up for comedy.
Katt airing out his grievances about him and his club Shay was seen as payback for Kevin's earlier comments, but Kevin swiftly responded by labeling Katt as a circus act. While it was a biting comeback from Kevin, the back and forth continued between Katt and the comedians he called out on the show. Interestingly, amidst the criticism directed at Katt from those he and Shannon discussed, Shannon notably refrained from coming to Katt's defense. He watched silently as Katt faced intense criticism without speaking up to defend him or challenge his detractors. As Beyoncé says, what goes around comes around. Allegedly, now it's Shannon who's under fire from those who previously criticized Katt heavily. Shannon is reportedly struggling to fend off these comments, with the tide turning against him. After Katt's interview, it was Katt himself who bore the brunt of criticism. Now the situation is flipped, and Shannon is battling these accusations and harsh remarks. It seems Shannon Sharpe is facing exactly what Katt warned about earlier this year. According to Shannon, after Katt appeared on Club Shay, intended as a platform for candid storytelling, critics began targeting the podcast. Shannon didn't expect the intense backlash. Former enthusiastic guests were suddenly backing out. Criticism of his interviewing style and efforts to cancel him were actively underway. It began with his interview featuring Monique, who criticized Tyler Perry, Oprah, and even her own son. This prompted accusations against Shannon of using his platform to stir up unnecessary drama among comedians. It seemed like the show's focus was inviting comedians to criticize others who weren't present to defend themselves, raising questions about the fairness and integrity. Dave Chappelle was among the first comedians to criticize Shannon and Katt, stating, "Now, what's going on here? He roasted the brothers. He didn't say a word about any of these white boys. None of them move like that. Katt is one of the greatest artists in the game, so why paint ugly pictures of us? Enough. Hurt people hurt people. But I'm a hurt person who's never hurt people. He does it all the time." Dave also focused on them jeopardizing the livelihoods of their fellow black men, adding, "If I told my story, it would break your heart. I lost everything and never snitched on anybody, and he's acting like he's the judge of truth. Katt, look, I rock with Katt heavy, but tell me, how does messing with another brother's money fit into the game? When does snitching on another brother become part of the game?" Once Dave Chappelle opened up the conversation, it quickly became the dominant topic of discussion. People shifted their focus away from Katt and began scrutinizing Shannon's role in the whole affair. There was a growing sentiment that Shannon was intentionally courting controversy by inviting outspoken comedians to critique their peers, fully aware that it would generate immense viewership, and it did. The interviews with Katt and Monique turned out to be Shannon's most viral and widely viewed segments to date. If his intention was to drive up views, he undoubtedly succeeded. After all, drama, controversy, and sensational accusations have always been a magnet for public interest. Like many others, I can't deny that it's compelling viewing. So while I may not entirely agree with this approach, it's hard to argue with the results he achieved in terms of viewership. However, discontent among other comedians has been vocalized, particularly by D.L. Hughley, who accused Shannon of stirring drama and enabling guests to propagate falsehoods and distorted narratives about their peers. Despite Katt Williams refraining from criticizing D.L. Hughley during his Club Shay interview, D.L. Hughley didn't hold back in condemning Katt for his remarks about fellow comedians. He also took a swipe at Shannon Sharpe, likening him to Wendy Williams with muscles.
Katt told every goddamn out, everything. You told so much, Jada Pinkett went, why you telling so goddamn much? What am I gonna say now? At least nobody had alopecia, so. Well, shit getting messy as hell. Shannon Sharpe is like Wendy Williams with a weight center.
It's surprising because there hasn't been any known history of conflict between Shannon and D.L. Hughley. So where did this animosity come from? Sources indicate that D.L. Hughley was displeased with the attention garnered by Shannon and Katt Williams from that interview, prompting him to take steps to undermine it. However, D.L. Hughley isn't the only one with this sentiment.
Help Club Shay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a weight set. So Monique was on. Every time I see Monique these days, she's on doing some greasy ass video with her and her daddy complaining about something or working out. I don't know nobody that work out that much and gain weight unless every crunch you do has got Captain in front of it.
Things took a turn when Mike Epps threw shade at Shannon during one of his comedy shows, alleging that Shannon had been pleading for him to appear on Club Shay. Epps declined, citing suspicions about Shannon's intentions. Shannon responded assertively, accusing Mike of leveraging his name for publicity. He denied ever initiating contact or requesting Epps to join the show, turning the tables by suggesting it was actually Mike Epps who sought desperately to be featured on Club Shay.
That nigga Shannon Sharpe called me trying to do an interview. I said, no, Medea, I ain't doing no interview. So you can sit across from me and look at my balls. I'll sit down, nigga. I thought he was going to attack Katt.
At this juncture, it became evident that Mike Epps was seeking attention, as he later admitted during a live session that he had falsely claimed Shannon begged him to appear on the show. In reality, it was Mike who had initiated contact with Shannon about being on Club Shay.
And this one, I'm gonna fire this shot over your head, mofo, and you will know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Mention my name again.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put the DMs. And I don't like doing this.
Yeah.
But you're lying. See, and I don't care about all that other stuff. You can say I'm gay, and you can say I don't care about that because I won't chase a lie, but I won't let you lie on my name.
Yeah.
Now you can say all that other stuff. I can deal with that.
Additionally, Mike Epps clarified that he had no intention of physically confronting Shannon Sharpe and intended to resolve the matter directly. He remarked, wait a minute now. I know Shannon. I don't know what grown man goes by Shay, but this grown man shouldn't be mad at me. Many people criticize you openly. They even imitate you on Saturday Night Live, but now you want to challenge me. I'll be honest, I did DM you to get on the show, but I reached out because you brought up my name while talking with Katt, trying to provoke him into saying something negative about me, but he didn't take the bait.
Wait a minute, now I know Shay. I don't know what grown ass man got a name named Shay, but I know this grown man is not mad at me.
He continued, now secondly, about pulling up on me, you'll be in Atlanta, and I'll be at the All-Star event in my hometown. We'll see each other, all right? I'll see you, brother. And just so you know, I'm not about fighting these days. That's not my thing. So there's only one other option. If you're not fighting, you're talking a whole lot of nonsense. Oh, and by the way, go get some eyebrows. You're looking like a pale mess sitting there stirring things up. We all saw how that guy humiliated you on TV, so just zip it. And Shay, you look like a media guy sitting there. You had a certain flair. I'm not saying you swing that way, but you had a certain flair. You look like Big Frida sitting there, with those tight shirts and muscles. Lose 'em. When Shannon heard that, he immediately responded by going live again to clap back at Mike and accuse him of jealousy and envy. It was clear Mike wasn't looking for any confrontation with Shannon. After all, Shannon's built like a tank from his NFL days, known for his country-strong physique. It's no wonder Mike backed down almost immediately. Another individual reportedly trying to hinder Shannon's career is Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey had previously appeared on Club Shay for a standard interview covering a range of topics from lifestyle to industry insights. The episode garnered significant attention and went viral, as expected, given Harvey's prominence.
So I'm thinking at that point in time, Steve Harvey is my most viewed podcast. He's at 8 million. I said, you think we're going to beat Steve? He's like, yeah. I'm hoping for 10 million. Yeah. That's all, Cam, if I get 10 million, I'm like, that's a pretty good interview. Yeah. Think about how few people that's in this space that interview people that don't get 10 million. Sure. So if I get 10 million, that's one of the biggest podcasts. Now, that's not Joe Rogan's numbers, but that's pretty good for an up-and-coming podcast.
However, when Katt Williams joined the podcast, his interview surpassed Steve Harvey's in views, becoming the most viral podcast in YouTube history. Katt's sharp criticisms of various personalities, including Steve Harvey himself, drew considerable attention. Understandably, Steve Harvey was displeased with how the situation unfolded, especially due to the criticisms directed at him during Katt Williams' interview.
Man. But here's the thing I tell people, if I'd have had Katt mic'd up from the time he got out of the truck until the time he sat down, it'd have done 100 million. Oh, he was on it.
Katt Williams revealed that he claimed to be the real reason behind Steve Harvey's departure from stand-up comedy, alleging it originated from an incident where Katt exposed Steve as wearing a wig, which Katt asserted embarrassed him. According to Katt, Steve said he quit stand-up because he had 7 TV shows. The issue was, he didn't have those shows when he quit. He left after losing a stand-up comedy championship against me in Detroit in front of 10,000 people. I exposed that he was actually bald, not wearing a wig. That's why he couldn't continue with stand-up. Then Katt Williams addressed Steve Harvey's appropriation of his own come-up story about overcoming hardship and living in his car, stating, "I've had a sip less than you. This is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story, not his. Steve Harvey was never homeless."
This is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that think like a man. Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history.
However, this wasn't the first instance of Katt Williams publicly criticizing Steve Harvey. Previously, Katt accused Steve of perpetuating damaging stereotypes about black men. For example, Katt alleged that Steve pressured Cedric the Entertainer into wearing a dress, contributing to a broader Hollywood conspiracy to emasculate black men. According to Katt, Steve undermined Cedric, whom he saw as a threat to his own career trajectory, by pushing him into roles he wasn't comfortable with. Katt has been outspoken about his belief that Steve Harvey's rise in entertainment was unethical, suggesting Steve lacks moral integrity. During his Club Shay interview, Katt also critiqued Steve's comedic abilities and performance, casting doubt on Steve's self-proclaimed title as the King of Comedy.
Then you asked it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good Oba-Kaby and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none.
According to Katt Williams, Steve Harvey dubbing himself the King of Comedy diminishes the legacy of true comedic giants who came before him. This isn't the first occasion where Katt has contested Steve's assertion of the title. In 2009, Katt publicly challenged Steve to justify his claim as the King of Comedy during a New Year's Eve performance where they co-headlined.
You didn't have to accept this. You could have just said, no, I'm not going to do it. You have been the King of Comedy as long as we've had one. Matter of fact, the whole phrase, King of Comedy.
Steve chose not to engage in a public feud with Katt Williams and opted for a more dignified approach by appearing on Jamie Foxx's satellite radio show. He used a metaphor to express his stance, saying, "My grandfather used to say that dogs don't bark at parked cars, only at cars that are moving. Dogs bark at the moon all the time, but if the moon barks back at the dog becomes famous." Despite Steve's effort to take the high road, his response seemed to validate Katt's belief that Steve might not excel in a comedic showdown. Time passed and both comedians continued with their careers until Katt Williams reignited tensions with his frank interview. Steve Harvey particularly affected by Katt's comments, prompting him to express his frustrations on his radio show. While Steve didn't explicitly mention Katt Williams or Shannon Sharpe by name, his remarks left little doubt among listeners as to whom he was addressing. However, the drama didn't end there. Sources suggested Steve is actively working behind the scenes to discourage other celebrities from appearing on Club Shay.
This thing that's going around now about comedy beefs, it's only coming really from a few people.
The situation escalated further when Mays and Cameron joined in to mock Shannon for his desire to fight at his mature age. While Mays and Cameron's remarks weren't overly harsh, Shannon was already feeling the pressure from multiple critics. This prompted him to publicly criticize Mays and Cameron with no holds barred.
You think I'm going to be fighting you?
Yeah, that's a smart decision. This is too grown to be wrestling. Y'all doing all this curling. Listen. Go ahead if you want.
Got something to say. But you notice what, Ocho? Because here's the thing. If you think about it, Ocho, I'm coming up on 4 years of having Club Shay.
Yeah.
And it's all of a sudden,
yeah,
even everybody. I mean, there's this pastor that used to that I guess now he a gangster pastor. All of a sudden, talking about he wants somebody to pull up.
They got them out there now.
Now all of a sudden, I mean, he gonna do so much. He need to sit his little roly-poly ass down.
Well, naturally, Mays clapped back at him, accusing Shannon of being anti-black, highlighting Shannon's energetic responses to criticism from black individuals, contrasted with his silence when confronted by white critics. Mays did make a valid observation because Shannon appears to show more respect towards white individuals. This aligns with Dave Chappelle's critique during his interview with Williams, where Dave noted that Katt and Shannon predominantly criticized black artists while avoiding any scrutiny of white individuals. Dave accused him of unfairly portraying their fellow black men.
You call yourself coming at me, right? You want to be aggressive with me, right? Listen, you showed poise, respect, wherewithal, resolve, compassion, reverence for Skip Bayless. Why are you so aggressive anytime somebody black say something? The man said, put your glasses on, and you put your glasses back on.
According to an insider, Shannon has been expressing frustration over how Katt's controversial remarks have undermined his show's credibility, turning it into something resembling a circus. Shannon reportedly believes Katt's actions have damaged his reputation, making it challenging to attract high-profile guests in the future. The streets have been abuzz with conflicting opinions on this matter. Fans are leaving comments like, the establishment is upset with Shannon Sharpe for allowing Katt and Monique to disrupt the status quo. There's a push to cancel Shannon because he's dared to unveil too much truth. Despite the backlash, his ratings have skyrocketed, leaving other podcasters and broadcasters envious and unable to compete. It's pure and simple hating, plain and simple. One fascinating aspect of Shannon Sharpe's platform is that it puts to rest the stereotype that women gossip more, because that's a seriously messy man right there. Shannon Sharpe seems to be embracing the drama lately. But what's your take on this? Do you believe Katt Williams is truly impacting Shannon's career post-interview? Share your thoughts in the comments below. That's it for today. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this.